today. Just heard a delightful story about this young man. You can give him a round of applause if you would. Let's start with a bit of magic. Yesterday he was 30th to go. He's flying a V glider and it's his first competition. So that's for you. I was 72nd to go yesterday and that didn't help me. So in this talk I will say very much about do as I say, don't do as I do, because that's not always the case. I'm flying not as well as I used to in the last 2 years, and so because my flying style is quite different to how it should be flown these days. Please come inside, guys, and please come and sit a little bit closer if you would. Not so far at the back, please. Yeah. So I'll start by just introducing myself and saying please, thank you for being here, and welcome everybody. Thanks everyone for coming and participating here. I think I like to do this kind of stuff. I love sharing, and I love to share great ideas, and I love competitions very, very much. If you don't understand me, please put your hand up and shout, or sit next to somebody who can translate with you. That would be
I'd just
perfect.
like to ask you if you have to speak a little bit slower.
Okay.
It's better for me.
I will do. Thanks. And keep reminding me. And if you don't understand something, just say repeat. Okay? Please. I want everyone to understand what I'm saying. That was from the Australians. They speak another language. So if you don't mind, take your phones and make some questions if you have them. And I will first go through a start, and then we will have an open discussion and talk and discuss things further and give comments and things like his reason for secrets, his success yesterday. Congratulations, really amazing. So let me get first through the first little bit. Many of you here, many of you know me quite well, but some of you don't know me. So I will just introduce myself and tell you where I come from. I'm from South Africa, I'm from Cape Town. I live in Cape Town, and I have been flying since 1996. I started when I was a clown professionally. That's what I used to do. And I had a lot of success being a clown. I had an agency of clowns, and I discovered this thing, paragliding, and my clown business just went like this, and paragliding just went like that. And in 1999, I started Africa's first tandem paragliding business. I got the idea in Austria, and I brought the idea to South Africa, to Cape Town, and today I have 18 companies that compete with my company. So I have a lot of competition on the mountain in Cape Town. It doesn't change anything in my life. It just means that I'm a little bit further away from my business. I have a great manager who runs my business for the last 8 years, and I have a lot of freedom to travel, and I have some passive income. So I don't really work very much. I have a lot of fun with paragliding and this kind of thing. This gives me enormous pleasure and a very big honor for me to share with you guys today. I have about 18,000 flights paragliding. I've never had an accident. I've only thrown my reserve twice, and only thrown them in tandem, and only because I've broken the glider. I broke once a complete glider, a brand new glider, and the second time I broke the spreader bar. The carabiner tore away from the riser, and I'll throw the reserve. Never solo, so I kind of am quite, I fly strong, but I don't fly crazy, and I'm very careful about when I fly and when I don't. For example, today, I was the first to test the air and to fly. I went to fly. I asked first Victor, who lives here now, come in, hi, Victor, and I asked Martin just before starting. And Martin said, oh, it's not such a good idea. I don't think you will have fun in the air. But I have, like heroin, a need to fly. I love it. I love it very much. I really, really like flying. So I wanted to get in the air. So I fly a lot of competitions. I think I've flown more than 100 competitions. And I've been South African champion. I've been to the World Championships twice. I've been, come on, Robert, come and join us. And I've been maybe flying 12 competitions last year. I fly a lot, and I really, really like it. But I am not so good anymore. I used to be much better. And the reason I realize now is because the style of flying has changed a lot to become gaggle flying. And people flying much more in gaggles than those who are flying a long time and have a lot of competition experience will know that we used to make our own decisions and win a task by going ahead our own way, and now you're much safer with the gaggle going to goal. Okay, so this is the first small teaching I tell you.
Even out of flatlands?
Even in the flatlands.
I mean, in the
Oh, in the mountains,
yeah,
you
in
mean?
the mountains as well.
The mountains. Look, we are in this game. I'm not a sheep. Okay, I can't be that long. The first time I saw this kind of really big success of a gaggle was in Portugal in South Africa, and I was always trying just to go ahead, and I was ahead of the gaggle, but always somehow they would catch me. Then I would go ahead, they would catch me, the gaggle would catch me, I would go ahead. And it was much easier just to stay with the gaggle all the way to the goal. But I say, don't be a sheep, but don't think too much for yourself and think that you are cleverer than the others. Okay. So, I don't listen to a lot of YouTube videos or look at them, and I don't read a lot of the books by a lot of people like Kelly Farina and Bruce Goldsmith. But I advise you guys to do that, and I advise you to be very curious, because I believe that the more curious you are, the more you learn things. And I know that sounds quite evident, but I say take everything you can. I hope you walk away today with something from this talk where you can go, okay, I didn't think like that before. So I start right at the beginning about your preparation. Can I have a show of hands? How many are flying their, hi Martin, how's it? Come in. Who is flying their first competition? Are you here for your first competition? Okay. Who have less than 5 competitions? Okay, fine. And the rest are having some more. Great. So, you know, right at the beginning, the preparation of your stuff, your equipment, yourself, being at the competition, being on time, being ready is very important. It's more important for your head than anything else. If you are finding yourself that you are like me, a chaos person, your stuff is everywhere, and change this. Okay? One rule I have that some people in South Africa, I help a lot of people in South Africa, they told me a good one is, if you open your glider bag and the helmet is next to the glider, it means that you are missing something, that there is something that needs to go in your bag. If your glider is closed, you have everything together. I leave my instruments in the glider. If I have to charge it, hi guys, you're always late, come and join us. And I like to keep my equipment really together and charged. But, for example, someone said to me, oh, you are charging your instrument on the takeoff today. Oh yes, I don't know if it was at 40% or 60%, but just to be sure, I give it some charge. If you use a mobile device like this, and you are using XE Track or such an instrument on your phone, that's really good to have the power bank and the cable with you. And, for example, one day you will fly a 4-hour task or a 5-hour task. An XE Track will eat your phone's battery up in this time if you leave it on all the time. So it is important to have the power bank and the cable somehow that you can take it in flight and plug it in and charge it, or keep it charged or whatever. But have your shit together. Keep all your instruments, your preparation and everything together. That's important. I know I'm speaking a little bit about the basics, but I want to cover everything here. We'll get to the more complicated a little bit later. Then we go to the takeoff. Now, be sure, as I say, that you have everything. That you have some water in your camelback, or a mix of water and Red Bull. Kata from Hungary gave me some caffeine and taurine tablets by Biotech, and I took one the other day, and I found that I was really quite sharp for the whole competition. So if caffeine is your thing and it helps you, if you're not a coffee drinker or you don't like to have caffeine or stimulants, okay. Another friend of mine swears by vitamin B tablets for concentration. One thing that's for sure is that our concentration is going down when we are flying. If we are flying for longer, be conscious of this. Be sure to have some snack with you in the air when you are flying.
And cigarettes.
And cigarettes, yeah, you can smoke one if you like. Recently I was in Spain in Algodonales, and the guy's rolling a joint this bloody before he takes off. And in the air you can still smell the marijuana. It's crazy. I looked at this, I thought, yes. Okay, so Different people are different. Different people need different things. Hey, how's it? Bobo! How are you, my brother? I missed you. Nice to see you. This is Martin's younger brother, Bobo. He's an absolute classic. Beautiful person. So have some nutrition ready and take it. If you like dried fruits, if you like nuts, if you have anything that you can just quickly take and shove in your face, an energy bar or something, but think about opening the packet. Think about that it's just there to take in a zip side, in a pocket, in a jacket, or anything like that. Messy, chocolatey kind of stuff is nothing that you want to, things that stay together, an energy bar that doesn't melt or whatever that you can really just chew on. And suddenly you are more awake. And be sure to think to yourself in the flight, to consciously think, how am I feeling? Identify with yourself. How is my head? How am I? Okay? Because we are at a race here. We're at a competition. We want to beat our friends. And it brings me to the next thing. Why are we here? What is this? This is to win a plastic cup. And to have your name on the list. Once. The next day people forget about you. But they know you for one day for sure. And you have your moment of glory. And I've had my glory in the past. I realize I'm not flying as well as before. I don't have to be like the nun who's whipping myself and beating myself up. But I have to be true to myself. And I ask myself, why am I here? So a big question for you guys. Why are you here? What are you doing here? And why are you competing? Many of you, maybe not competitive people. I don't know much more fun than paragliding competitions. I love paragliding competitions. I love it that you can come, compete against people on the day and have a beer with them afterwards, and everything's cool most of the time with nice people and decent people who are looking after each other. So a competition, somebody said to me, it's easy. You can come, everything is organized for you, from the retrieve to the scoring to this and that, and it's great. But ask yourself why you are here. Some guys I know are so hungry, they just want to be the world champion in their second season of paragliding. It's not going to happen. After 25 years and 100 competitions, I'm still learning, and I realize that I'm not so good, and I will probably never be world champion. And I resign myself to that. So get your head straight and realize, and also I encourage you guys to think plastic cup. So don't take the competition too seriously. Enjoy. You're here to enjoy the flying. Yesterday, third flight with my new glider, a D glider. I've stepped down again. I loved it. I realized, just as I'm struggling 9 kilometers before goal, just in the lightest shit, just staying off the ground. And I had to remind myself, this is like an orgasm. It's amazing. It's so delicious. It's so nice. Okay? So it's very important for you guys to realize, why are you here? What are you doing here? And why do you spend so much effort and price, entry money and everything to be at a thing like this? Otherwise, you could just go free flying with your buddies or flying alone, whatever. Sometimes people like to listen to music when they fly. If you've never done it, I encourage you to try it. Today, since the task was cancelled, I put my headphones in and I was just changing through playlists and enjoying, and it's enjoyment. Just enjoy it, take it all in. On the takeoff, you ask yourself, do you have to fly? Do you want to fly? Is this within your limit? Chatting to Victoria a little bit earlier today, she was looking and shaking her head and saying, today's probably not my day to take off. And be honest with yourself. Fly in your limits. On a task day, think of the plastic cup. If the sky is exploding and other guys are still pushing towards a goal. I've been hailed on in Russia. I've had everything happen in the experience I have of the flying and blowing backwards. And who was it? One of your colleagues, Gareth, telling me he landed in 70 kilometer an hour winds. Any craziness can happen. You don't have to do that. When you crash and you've hurt yourself or you're dead, there's no prizes for the dead guy. So be really safe and be true to yourself. And go to land if you don't like it. You don't have to be in the air. You don't have to suffer the stuff that's going on if it's not comfortable for you. Okay? So don't be too hard on yourself also if you are trying one guy a little bit earlier we were talking and saying, this competition is gestrichen. I have to cancel it because yesterday I did some shit and for fun. Okay. So I spoke of the hydration, to eat correctly, the PP control, Some of you might like, as guys, to wear the condom pipe. Ladies have to wear a nappy, unfortunately. I don't do any of those. I just suffer. And I realize that if I really have to, and I've never had to, pee in my pants after 4 hours or 5 hours, so I have to. So what? There's always water and whatever. You can fly with a spare pair of shorts if you want to, if you're worried about it. I'd rather fly with a spare pair of shorts than have to put an uncomfortable condom pipe on my dick every flight. I don't like that. So make sure your coffee and your drinking intake is controlled nicely if you're new to competition flying. It means at night, drink a lot of water. When you wake up in the morning, I put my face under the tap and I drink a lot of water. First thing I do, I've done my basis hydration. Electrolyte tablets or sachets are a really good tip that I can give you. They are good to keep your hydration level up and your sharpness here, right? What you eat before you take off. Have your meals planned. Don't be somebody that's badly prepared in the food department, because when you eat correctly, your mind is sharp. When you don't, you don't know why, but your sugar level has been fucked around like this. As I said, if Red Bull is your thing, a bit of Red Bull or half a Red Bull or one Red Bull with your liter of water is important. Coming back to your instruments and your stuff, being at the right weight range of your glider, having your stuff all right and all together is right. So Japanese girl now has to travel with 30 or 40 kilograms of ballast because she's got the smallest size of Zeno Enzo with her, and she only weighs 40 kilograms, but her kit weighs 40 kilograms. It's insane. But it's insane for us that are just having to take a little bit of stuff with us. But it is some of the factors that you have to think about. Check the weight range of your glider. Check where you're at. Don't just have it hypothetical. Make sure it's right. The scale outside here, the electronic scale, I don't trust it. I think it might be a bit wrong. Find out. Ask the person who owns the scale. Is the scale accurate? Oh no, it's probably on 108 kilograms, 2 kilograms too much. So you know you're at 106. Doesn't matter a few grams. You don't have to be crazy about these things. Okay? Right. Now we're on the takeoff. And we're on the takeoff, and there comes a very big question. When do I take off? When is the right moment to take off? Yesterday, I made the mistake of helping people a little bit too long on the takeoff sites. And come in, welcome. And I prejudiced myself, being from myself a generous person. I made a mistake by taking off 10 minutes too late. I didn't manage to get up with the first crew. So I struggled for the whole day and came in 72nd yesterday, instead of coming in 20th or 29th. All right, not 30th. All right, so make sure you take off at the right time. What is the right time? The right time is 20 minutes before the task, before the open of the window. No, it's too close to the time. It's what I used to do. I used to feel that just taking off just before getting up and then going is right, is the ideal. Why? Because my stress on the takeoff site and my concentration is like running out, and I'm going to be finished. No, we can concentrate for longer if we do the right thing with nutrition or whatever. But it is important for us to be able to check the right time. Is 1 hour and 15 right? You must know. You must know that you want to get into the air, feel the air, test the air, know how good it is, what's going on the day, and be at the top. Be at the top of the stack in the right place. 2 days ago, we had to go right into the valley for the first turn point, right? It was better to grab out in the front. I thought I was most in the front at cloud base with the best guys, and we were doing great. But as we got going, what the fuck? There are 2 guys coming from there, and a yellow glider. And they got to that turn point way ahead of us, because they had been taking time to climb into the wind. Identify these things and think for yourself. If you are not sure, one thing I can highly recommend from every one of you who is new to paragliding is go to somebody that you trust, who's very experienced at competition flying, that you like, and who's happy to share with you on the day, every day. Ask them about the task. Ask them what the strategy of the task would be. Learn what the task is. Don't just look at the task, put it in your instrument, and think, okay, I've got this. I'm going to win today. No. Learn which mountain range, which features, where you want to be turning, which way the wind should be coming, which way you will approach a turn point, and think it out. It's like a synchronized dancers. They have to do their practice again and again. You see the acro champions, they are practicing their acro in their head and virtually again and again, just knowing what's going to be going on. The same with your task. Don't take your task and just think, I've got it in my instrument, I'm cool. I've done it before. We all make these mistakes. I'm distracted, I get a phone call or anything like that. And I forget to look what exactly is the task. Some tasks have got many turn points. Learn. You don't have to study it so off by heart, because when there's 7 or 8 turn points, you won't remember if the next one is this way or that way. Your instruments and what's going on your instruments is everything in your task. It's going to teach you where to go. You must familiarize yourself with your instruments. If you're new to flying, drive your car with XE track on in the traffic and up and down mountain passes, and put some kind of turn points in there and free fly with your instruments as if you're doing a task. That way you learn. Because I'm still learning this stuff. Okay? I don't know everything. The day that you think you know everything, you're a fool. We are constantly learning here. Here are some really good Australian pilots come to join us today, and some others who really know what they're doing here. And they don't need to come here and learn more from a guy like me, but they do. Because we are interested in picking up little tips and tricks and learn them. Learn your instruments really well. Have a backup instrument. It's really important. I started flying, we would fly with 3 little shitty cameras over our necks here with strings. Anyone else part of that brigade? And we would have to go around a building, which was the turn point. We were told it's down there, out there, it's 20 kilometers away, is the intersection of 2 roads and a red building. You have to go around it, and we were shown some pictures at the briefing, some paper pictures, because there was nothing like this in a computer. So we had to go around those buildings and take photos. And you'd use 3 cameras to take a photo just to be sure that the film roll would work. And at night, some poor sucker had to look at hundreds of negative strips from on a screen and work out if Tim had been around the turn point, or if he had been cheating, or if he had not, or if it wasn't quite. Forget it. Today we fly with a tracker. We fly with a tracker that's given to us by the competition organizers, but don't rely on it, because it's not for sure that it's going to have your flight. If it's in your jacket but it's underneath something else and it doesn't record your flight, you must have proof. So you are not innocent until you show your flight. You must have your flight. So I don't only subscribe to having 1 instrument. I definitely say have 2 or 3. Okay, 3 is better than 2, but 2 is definitely the minimum you should have. I have an OD4 and I have XE track. And I've stopped looking at my OD4 because I don't like the interface and how it looks. I like the XE track. I swear by XE track now for a free app that you can put a configuration on, and the configuration I got was from some champion. It's just showing the minimum. I don't have too much on it. I don't say I have the right. Everybody has their own style of doing it, but if I may, mine looks like this and has it has 6 blocks at the top and 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom. I only need 2 of them at the bottom. Glide to goal, distance to the end, altitude, vario, how fast. This is the distance to the next turn point, the time to the next turn point I've started to use more and more. Ground speed, nice and loud. And the last one there is height above ground. You don't need more, okay? And if you want to have a last one, it can be altitude over goal where you're going to get there. It's quite nice to know how much altitude you're going to arrive at goal with or not, okay? So keep it simple, keep it really simple. Don't have 20 things on here. You're not going to look at 20 things. Don't even try it. Don't go there. It's not going to work.
Glide ratio, don't you use?
Sorry?
Glide ratio?
Glide ratio. You can look at your glide ratio. Are you talking about the glide ratio to goal?
To go.
Yes.
No, like the...
Constant glide ratio that you're doing. I don't look at it.
No.
No, I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
To adjust your bar, amount of bar.
Yeah, the glide to goal over the my current glide ratio. So if I know the glide to goal is above the glide what I require, I need to do some work or whatever. So
So you do a comparison of the two. You can use what's right for you, what feels right for you, but don't have too much noise in your head, because there's a lot of other things you have to look at. And I'm going to tell you how I fly well, by having radar eyes. My eyes are not only here, my eyes are here and here too. Okay? I'm looking everywhere. I'm looking all the time everywhere. I don't look a lot too much at my instruments. The one thing I look at when I change from one turn point to the next, I look immediately to see how far is the next turn point. And when you're approaching some turn, and that's the one thing I feel you should quite regularly be looking at, is how far to the next turn point. Because don't get caught out on it. Sometimes you'll find a really good thermal and you think, I'm doing great, and the wind is quite strong, it's blowing you this way, but the turn point is there. And you have to ask yourself, do you go first to that? But if you were sleeping and it was only a few hundred meters away, you could have veered that way, taken it, and then come to the turn point. Okay? There are lots of these. What we do is extremely complicated and extremely technical. And in our lifetimes, I don't think we can get really good, unless you're Martin, who is just brilliant from the beginning. So, hey Martin, you're natural. So, it's very, very technical. You can't take everything in. You can only do the best you can do. Right? I'll carry on a little bit faster here. So, your instruments must be 100%. They must not be too noisy with too much stuff. Have a vario which you are listening to. I don't subscribe all the time to looking at how fast you are climbing, but like a talk I was listening to by Tom Payne yesterday and today, he is saying, check your very first thermal, how strong you got, okay? And check how strong is that. And then after that, you don't want to have anything less than that. But there gets to the danger zone when you are getting lower, then you have to take anything. And I don't believe in going into the danger zone. I believe in what Andrew Smith, one of our very big legends, he was a world champion too, he taught me, get high, stay high. And I used to race and not worry too much about the ground and how low I was. I don't subscribe to that anymore. Now I go through entire tasks high all the time. When other guys tell me, oh, I had 3 low saves in this competition, I had 5 low saves, shit, I got close to the ground a few times. Don't do it, guys. Much easier is being high and staying high all the time. Then you don't have a stress. Our biggest waste of time.
That's what the guy was doing with the 6-inch split.
Yeah, exactly. He was. He was really high. You know? So you go up to the top. Try and stay high and take what you can. Use all the thermals and use them to the top. Now we have changed our competition strategy because our gliders go better, they go faster, they turn more efficiently, they climb faster. And one thing that Martin told me 2-3 years ago, he taught me something, and he said, the competitions are won in the climbs. And it's true. If you can take on a day where there's only a few 4 and 5 meter a second thermals, and most of the thermals are 2 to 3 meters a second, but you can really work out where the 4 and 5 meter a second thermals are while staying off the ground and only using the 4 to 5 meter a second thermals, then you will win the task. You will be fastest. Do you agree, Tim?
Yeah.
So Tim's sitting here in the front. He won the task a few days ago. Yesterday, Peter's just walked into the room. Thanks, Peter, for coming. He said, I don't want to talk. I don't want to give anything. But he told me his flight yesterday. He was low and doing shitty at the beginning. And then he told me I was lucky. So I don't believe in the word luck. But sometimes in this game, I think there is a bit of luck involved. I don't think you were lucky, Peter. I think you had a lot of experience behind you, and I think you were using your own choices. And finally, the gaggle caught you, and you went into goal nicely, and you managed to get first anyway because of so many lead-out points, but you were doing your own thing a lot of the time. I don't subscribe to you guys doing your own thing at all if you are new to paragliding. If you're new to paragliding, stay with company as much as you can. Stay with as many other pilots as you can. You won't be able to stay with the lead gaggle. Maybe if you are really good and talented like this young guy clearly is, then you can do some kind of staying with some gaggle, then the gaggle goes away from you, others catch you, or you join to others, but stay with other pilots. Unless you really know what you're doing, like Peter and I, and Tim and a couple of the others, and a couple of others, will be able to fly quite independently of others. Yesterday, because I got such a bad start, I was late, I was low, I struggled nearly, well, too low for my liking, and saying to myself, now I desperately take anything. When you get to the danger zone, you must take anything. Remember, our game is over when your feet are on the ground. Then you can hit yourself and be hard on yourself because it's finished for you when you land. And when you race too much just before the goal like I do, and you land just short of the goal, you're an even bigger idiot. Okay, so make sure that you make it to goal if you can make it. Yes, please.
So I fly a big glider, and this is a competition probably above my level. I used to go to sport competitions where I used to make goal, and I think logically here is a little more challenging because the level is higher. And I want to fly high, and I want to fly in a group, but especially when I go to the flats, my group doesn't agree with me. We start together. I'm probably floating okay. I'm not sinking more than the others. But when the group starts to fly low, I have, I think, 3 days of big decision in my mind.
Should I go with them?
Should I go low with them, or should I stay high and try to stop in a 0.5? And people say, don't stop in a 0.5, just stop in a 2.5. So for me, this is a big challenge.
Exactly. And that is your big dilemma. If you are getting a great start on the day, and which is what I hope you guys will do, is every day, try and get as high as you can with the good group and try and stay with them. Because before the start, if you take off early enough, understand the air, get up high, be with the lead gaggle, hopefully be high enough up. You can do this in any glider, on a B glider, an A glider, whichever glider. Before the start, being in pole position, nobody's got any excuse not to do that. So try to be with the most company, and don't only think, it's another point I wanted to make, that because a guy flies an Enzo, that he's a good pilot. Go to Italy, there's a lot of guys, and I'm sorry to mention Italy, but there's a lot of guys who fly all sorts of kung fu gliders, but they are not that good pilots, but they have to have the hottest shit, okay? So